Hi, this is Claire Sedlacek, pastoral intern at Calvary. Our first grief and loss workshop session will be held live on Zoom Thursday, May 14th at 7 p.m. and continue each Thursday for the next 3 weeks. Our last session will be on Thursday, June 4th. This workshop is designed to help anyone who is interested in exploring what grief and loss means for them. It might be for someone who has experienced grief following the death of a spouse, partner, a parent, or any other significant person in their lives. It might be the loss of a relationship or a job. No doubt, people have significant feelings in relation to the losses experienced due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We all grieve differently, and a key component of healing from grief and loss can take place in community. The death of someone we've loved or other aspects of loss can lead us to question life's purpose and meaning. I hope you will consider joining me on this journey as we explore grief and loss, and look forward to walking alongside each of you as we journey together. Each session will cover a particular set of topics, which will essentially build on each other, but for the most part, each session will be able to stand on its own. Session 1 is entitled The Basics of Grief: what grief is not, the intersection of culture and religion, where faith and grief collide, stories of grief and how grief is expressed. Some of the questions we will work through in our first session will be answering the question, what is grief? Melissa Kelly says, grief is understood as one's response to an important loss. Also in this first session, we might unpack how faith traditions deal with grief. Every faith tradition has its own way of understanding grief and loss. The world's major religions, Christianity, Judaism, Muslim, Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism, all have unique ways of celebrating the passage from this life to the next and remembering those who have died. In the same way, within each faith, including Christianity, there are unique traditions as well. Funerals for Catholics and Southern Baptists might look and feel very different from each other. Individuals all grieve differently, though a key component of healing takes place in community, as it does especially with a faith community like Calvary. People who are grieving move through their own unique grief process in their own time and are hopefully supported by family and friends along with their faith community. This is an interesting time, as those faith communities which normally are there to support each other are not able to gather physically, which brings a whole new meaning to grief and loss. We'll be looking at a few resources, books, podcasts, TED Talks, in an effort to provide some additional insight. In our first session, we will be hearing from Duke Professor Kate Bowler as she shares her own personal experience after the death of author Rachel Held Evans, which happened just about a year ago. Bowler enlists fellow Duke professor and friend, the Reverend Dr. Susan Dunlap, who explains how it is important to just feel what you feel. Dr. Dunlap, like others, will give us guidance, not necessarily how to grieve, but what grief might look like for each of us, and how that might be very different from how it looks to others. By unpacking stories of grief, we will also look at how grief and loss might be expressed. Poetry, like this poem by Jan Richardson, may give words to us in times when we don't know how to express what it is we are feeling. The poem, Blessed Are the Brokenhearted, reminds us to keep breathing, to abide in this moment, the next moment, and the one after that. I'm looking forward to our first session this week and hope you will consider joining me. If you would like to sign up, send me an email, and if you sign up, I'll send you a Zoom link. If you need any help getting Zoom set up for the first time, please send me an email back and I will walk you through the steps. Just a reminder, you will need to download the Zoom app in order to participate in this workshop online. Don't hesitate to email me if you have any questions. See you soon.